Hi guys. So I've decided to do a follow-up video on the dirty water in Norton situation because after the last video I did got so much attention, I really feel that it deserves a bit more of an explanation. So I'm going to try and as efficiently and quickly as possible show you the information that I found and how I came to the conclusions that I did. The town of Norton, Massachusetts has been experiencing some severe dirty water issues. The water comes out of their tap black like coffee, dark tea. The town is telling them that their water's safe. It's just discolored. A couple months back, I found a website. When I started seeing how contaminated the water was, I was really curious. And when I went on the Sick of Dirty Water in Norton, Massachusetts page on Facebook, and I saw the pictures of the contaminated water of the next town over from me, I was really concerned. Around June or July, a web page came out from Live Science. It's a tap water database, and it contains EPA data. And I've spoken since the previous video. I've spoken with a public health professor, and he's said that the information found on this site is accurate. So I'm going to go through. If you Google tap water contamination by zip code, you'll see a link for Live Science. You scroll through the article. There's a blue link that says tap water database. Click on that, enter your zip code, and pick your water source. So the town of Norton has 9 contaminants above health and safety guidelines. You can see this for yourself if you go on the website and look it up. I really encourage you to do your own research, as I am certainly not an expert. So you go on the site, and the town of Norton has 9 contaminants above health and safety guidelines, and 6 out of those 9 are actually added as disinfecting agents to your water. I'm just going to read off the couple that I found most concerning because I don't want to take up your entire day. Brometachloromethane is one of them. That's formed when chlorine and other disinfectants are used to treat drinking water. It causes cancer and may cause problems during pregnancy. Now, this is a disinfectant agent that is added by your water company. The health guideline is 0.4 parts per billion. The town of Norton adds 7.43 parts per billion. This causes cancer. Chloroform, it's another chemical. It's formed when chlorine or other disinfectants are used to treat drinking water. Chloroform and other disinfection byproducts increase the risk of cancer and may cause problems during pregnancy. The health guideline is 1 part per billion. The town of Norton, 16.6 parts per billion is present in your water. There's chromium. It's chromium in drinking water may be due to industrial pollution or other natural occurrences in mineral deposits in groundwater. That one's not super high. The health and safety guideline is 0.2 parts per billion, and there's 0.7000 parts per billion present in Norton's water. And I want you to keep in mind that the surrounding towns' water reports are very much similar. In the town of Attleboro, 8 out of the 10 carcinogens found in their water is added by the water company as disinfecting agents. Dibromachloromethane. It's a disinfecting agent, and it's formed when chlorine or other disinfectants are used to treat drinking water. It increases the risk of cancer and may cause problems during pregnancy. The health guideline is 0.7 parts per billion. The town of Norton, you have 3.00 parts per billion. It causes cancer, and it can cause difficulty during pregnancy. I don't know about you, but I find that a little concerning, especially after the last video. I got so many messages of people who have developed cancer, or at least one house. Every house on their street has somebody who either has it or has recently passed from it. Manganese. Manganese is a naturally occurring element that's common in food and drinking water. Excessive manganese exposures may impair children's attention, memory, and intellectual capacity. So the health guideline is 100 parts per billion. Town of Norton, it says 241.9 parts per billion are present, but I've received messages since the previous video that gave me numbers as high as 400 and change parts per billion, which is also deeply concerning. The trihalomethates, it's a cancer-causing contaminant that forms during water treatment with chlorine and other disinfectants. The total trihalomethates group includes 4 chemicals: chloroform, bromidichloromethane, dibromochloramethane, and bromoform. The health and safety guidelines are 0.8 parts per billion. The town of Norton has 36.8 parts per billion. So, the trichloric acid is the last one that I'll do from this page. It's one of the 5 hydrochloric acids regulated by federal standards. It is formed when chlorine and other disinfectants are used to treat drinking water. It's added by your water company. Hydrochloric acid, haloactic acids, and other disinfection byproducts increase the risk of cancer and may cause problems during pregnancy. Health guidelines is 0.5 parts per billion. 3.82 is present in Norton's drinking water. So that's a lot of disinfecting agents that they're putting in the water, and they're putting in at extreme levels. They're flushing the pipes frequently. That leads me to believe that the town knows that the water is contaminated. Why else would they add so many cleaning solvents? Why else would they be flushing the pipes so frequently? And if they know that it's contaminated, why are they telling people that it's safe? So I started to seek out a source of the contamination, and that's when I stumbled upon the Shpack Landfill, SHPACK. It was a Superfund site, which means they were getting millions of dollars from the federal government to clean up, and we'll go to that site now. So the Shpack Landfill was started by this old man. He lived in a wetland. Now, I want you to keep this in your mind, that this landfill was started on a wetland for the purpose of filling it in so that Mr. Shpack could have an orchard. And this is back in the 1940s. I understand his good intention, and I also understand that they didn't know back then the things that we know now. But that doesn't mean that we can't make it right. So the Shpack Landfill, if you Google it, you'll come up to this page. There's several articles and stuff, but this will give you a lot of information on it. It was recently taken off the Superfund site, which means that there'll be no more federal assistance or federal money to help with the cleanup, help anybody with their medical bills. A lot of the contamination on the Shpack landfill site comes from Metals and Controls, Inc., which was a sub-company of Texas Instruments. They had a contract with the Department of Atomic Energy and the U.S. Navy to make enriched uranium. The byproduct of that radioactive waste was dumped at the Shpack landfill. And it was dumped there from between 1946 and 1965. So that's 21 years of radioactive waste that was dumped haphazardly, not up to code, no regulation. Radioactive waste was just dumped there for 21 years. Once it became a Superfund site, they received millions of dollars to clean up. They removed 900 pounds of radioactive waste. It was buried there for 21 years. 900 pounds. And they dug down 12 feet. Now, do the math for yourself. They claim that the site is clean, so it's no longer a Superfund site. There'll be no more federal assistance in the cleanup or anyone's medical bills. Metals and Control Inc., which was a sub-company of Texas Instruments, has recently filed a motion for impunity, meaning they know they're guilty. Why else would you ask for immunity? They know they're guilty. And their reason for asking for impunity is that they were under federal government contract, so they're not responsible for their actions, so they say. But if you go down the Shpack landfill, you'll find the responsible parties and or possible responsible parties. It says on August 15th, 2006, the EPA issued special notice letters to 14 potentially responsible parties. A PRP is any individual or company potentially responsible for or contributing to a spill or other contamination at a Superfund site. In 2009, the following parties signed a consent decree to undertake remediation of the site. Meaning, these parties signed a decree to be dedicated to the cleanup of this site, which has recently been taken off the Superfund site, but obviously Norton is still having water problems because they're constantly flushing the pipes. They're adding all of these disinfectant agents. And since the previous video that I did, I have gotten countless messages from people who have chromosome deletion, who have developed different types of cancer that their doctors have told them are caused by environmental contamination. They live on a street, and every house on that street has either got somebody who has cancer or recently lost somebody who has cancer. And I feel like this is really something we need to talk about. So these companies have signed off on responsibility and cleaning up of the Shpack landfill. The town of Attleboro, Avnet, Bank of America as trustee for the Lloyd G. Balfour Foundation, BASF Catalysts, formerly known as Englehart, Chevron Environmental Management for itself on behalf of Quaney Industries, ConocoPhillips, Handy and Harman, International Paper, KIK Custom Products, formerly known as CCL Custom Manufacturing, Inc., the town of Norton, Schwank, Inc., the Technor Apex, formerly known as Thompson Chemical, Texas Instruments, who was the mother company for Metals and Controls, Inc., and the Waste Management of Massachusetts. So these are the parties that have signed off on responsibility for the Shpack landfill. Now, the town knew that it was contaminated because at the Shpack landfill, the Texas Instruments, the town knew that enriched uranium was being created there. They knew that it was being buried there. And they didn't come forward to the people themselves right away. It took a boy, a college student, who was doing an environmental survey. He noticed that he was seeing snails with no shells. So he went and he tried to get more information why there would be snails with no shells. And it was found out that the snails were actually running away from their shells because they were so contaminated. And this was around the Shpack landfill site. I really encourage you guys to do your own research. I think it's important. I think that this is a serious issue that we really need to tackle as a community. I don't feel that we can trust some of these sources that we're trusting for information on our water are some of the same sources that have owned responsibility for contaminating it. So I really encourage people to get their water independently tested, to do their own research. Don't just take what I say for fact. And reach out to me if you have any information you'd like to share. I'm trying to put a group of people together so that we can come together as a community and figure out how to handle this. Because I realize, especially from all of the messages that I got after the last video, that there are a lot of people affected, and this goes a lot deeper than I thought. So on that note, I've wasted, well, it wasn't a waste, right? 15 minutes. If you have any questions, put them in comments or private message me, and I'll be glad to try to answer them for you to the best of my ability. I think that's it for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.